Some moments split your life into before and after. Mine was a Tuesday night, just shy of midnight, sitting alone in a dark living room that seemed too large all of a sudden. My hands shook as I held the phone and listened to my wife laughing on the other end, only she wasn't laughing with me. And she sure wasn't alone. I heard his voice, muffled but clear enough, "David." I'd know my brother's drawl anywhere. "All these years, you think you know the people closest to you. You think you can see through a lie. But the universe has a nasty way of showing you where you've been blind." I grew up second to David in everything, second son, second best. He was always the one people remembered, smarter, funnier, smooth with words. I was the one who swept up after him. When we were little, my mother used to call me her steady one, not as a compliment, more like a consolation. David was made of fireworks, I was the fuse left behind after the show. Still, we were brothers. Family meant loyalty. I didn't even mind, most days, how he moved through life obliviously, dropping troubles like spare change. I liked being the solid ground he landed on, even if he only needed it after a fall. And when he and Sarah clicked so easily, my Sarah, long before the ring, I saw it as friendly banter, just his way. Sarah and I met in college. She was all glossy hair, bookish sarcasm, and the sort of quiet strength you feel in your bones. I fell for her almost before I realized it. We built a life as ordinary and sound as a brick wall, townhouse, 9-to-5 jobs, 2 cats, a list of places we'd someday like to travel. Our dramas were little ones. Or so I believed. It started small. Sarah became distracted in conversation, reaching for her phone like she needed directions out of the room. Weekend dinners shifted, she'd step away, claiming work calls that lasted into the night. David, meanwhile, seemed to hang around more, drinks after work, stopping by when Sarah was home alone. I blamed nostalgia at first, the way you do when the answer feels too big and too ugly to be true. There were other things, the kind you talk yourself out of noticing. David laughing too loudly at her jokes. The way she'd rub her thumb along her ring finger during their conversations. One time, after a family meal, I caught a look pass between them, a sharp, guilty flicker. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I wanted it to be nothing. But humans are pattern seekers. Once you let the doubt in, you start to see it everywhere. The night my world split, it was late, Sarah asleep beside me, or so I thought. Her phone buzzed on the nightstand. She groaned, rolled over, and silenced it without looking. But when the text came again, annoyance gave way to anxiety on her face. She slipped into the bathroom to check on something for work. She left her phone face down, but not silent. I picked it up. I wish I could say I agonized about the choice, but the truth is, something heavy and old inside me had already made the decision. The lock screen showed a preview, "I miss you. I can't stop thinking about Tuesday. D." She'd muted their thread, I realized. Hidden the evidence, but not carefully enough. It took me 2 weeks to get undeniable proof, that's how long it took for curiosity to overcome shame. I installed a simple app on her laptop, something a friend at work had once mentioned, half as a joke. I told myself I was protecting our marriage, but I knew I wanted to catch her. The log showed her sending files, photo attachments, to an email I didn't recognize. Hotmail, of all things. David's 6th grade era email, the one he'd use for spam. I opened the sent files. There were no nudes, no obvious confessions, but the intimacy was unmistakable, pictures from our vacations, private jokes transcribed, words I recognized from our earliest years but now aimed at someone else. At David. When I confronted her, she didn't deny it. Not straight away, at least. "I didn't want to hurt you," she whispered, face crumpling. "It just happened. He was lonely, you know how he is. He needed someone." She meant David, the perpetual rescue case. I remember standing in our kitchen, thinking I'd never been angrier in my life. Not just at her, for the lies, for using our shared memories as secret currency, but at him. My brother, who'd helped himself to everything I'd built. From there, the betrayal multiplied. David tried to explain, voice soft and pleading on the phone. It was a mistake, man, he said, like we were kids again, caught cheating at cards. Let's fix this. Don't tear the family apart. But nothing was torn, it was gutted, hollowed out long before the truth came out. The rest was just cleanup. For days, I drifted through life on autopilot. Work, home, sleep, repeat. Sarah and I occupied the house like awkward roommates. David and I didn't speak. But hurt has a way of demanding action. One night, as sleep evaded me again, I decided I wouldn't just let it end this way. I wanted the truth out, not just for me, but so their secret couldn't fester in the dark. I started gathering evidence, scores of texts, call logs, the email history. I didn't want vengeance as much as I wanted exposure. They'd taken so much that belonged to me, they didn't get to keep their innocence, too. Opportunity came at a family gathering, a cookout at my parents' house. Everyone there, the air thick with unspoken tension. My mother fussed over the grill, my father stared at the game. David avoided my eyes. Sarah put on her best neutral smile. I waited until everyone was settled, plates heaped with food, laughter forced and brittle. Then I plugged my phone into the speakers. Got a new playlist, I joked. You'll like this, Dad. Instead, what played was a recording, one I'd taken weeks earlier, the audio of Sarah and David whispering late at night, oblivious to the open microphone on Sarah's desk. Nothing explicit, just the two of them reminiscing about that night, laughing about sneaking around, cloaked in the language of people who think themselves untouchable. The table went silent. My mother's tongs clattered to the floor. David's face strained as the recording played, Sarah's voice sweet and unmistakable. I didn't watch them, I watched my parents, my aunts and uncles, as comprehension dawned. When I stopped the audio, the silence felt radioactive. I stood. There's been enough lying, I said, voice rough. I'm not airing dirty laundry, I'm done hiding what's been happening behind my back. Now everyone knows. People stared. Some at me, some at Sarah and David. My mother burst into tears, blaming herself, she always does. My father looked at David, then me, as if trying to decide where the blame belonged. Sarah cried, begged me to step outside, talk in private. David followed, but I wouldn't let either of them get a word in. I told them exactly how long I'd known, how thoroughly I'd documented everything. I told them I'd be going to a lawyer, ending the marriage, cutting the cord with my brother for good. You don't get to comfort each other, I said. You don't get to rewrite this as some tragic mistake. Everyone saw you. The family shunning was swift. David tried to defend himself, spinning stories, but recordings don't lie. Sarah moved out a week later, leaving half her stuff behind. David lost the last steady place he had, my parents told him he wasn't welcome under their roof. Our family dinners shrank, holidays grew avoidant and quiet. I wish I could say I felt nothing but satisfaction. For a while, I did. I savored the honesty, the way people looked at me with sympathy and respect instead of pity. I was the wronged party. They were the traitors. But rage is a short-lived fuel. Once the drama settled, I was alone again, sitting in that enormous quiet, unable to decide if I'd won anything at all. My parents reached out, hearts broken, but unable to fix what had been broken. Friends took sides, some unwilling to hear both versions. The cats huddled next to me at night, confused by the echo of the house. In the aftermath, I realized I missed a lot of things, my wife, even with her flaws, my brother, even with his selfishness, but mostly, I missed my former blindness. I missed thinking my world was unshakable. Revenge, as it turns out, isn't a clean break. It's a splinter you dig out, taking some of yourself with it. But I learned something through the excavation, sometimes truth matters more than peace. I learned I could survive the loss of a future I thought was certain, and that family isn't a blood contract, it's trust, and trust once broken is hard to reconstruct. I wish I could say I'd do it all differently, but I don't think I would. Some secrets demand daylight. And now, when I see my reflection, I recognize the man staring back, not the steady one, not David's shadow, but someone less sure, more scarred, and finally free.